Hi everyone. So this is where I'm gonna be quarantined for the next week or so. I'm here at the Ritz-Carlton in Laguna Niguel. It's pretty quiet here, not a lot of people. The view is great, and I hope you guys can hear me. I think my thing is working. So a lot has happened really in the last week or two, given the corona outbreak. I know that half of my face is like totally dark, which is fine because I really want to share the view. So hopefully you guys don't mind seeing like half of my face totally dark. Um, so we've received news on the H1B front. So there's been court cases on H1B that really put USCIS in its place, and we do expect more streamlined processing for H1B in the next few months as people prepare the application and sending it out. I know that the selections have completely come in, and we've been getting a lot of inquiries on filing cases for employers that were selected in the lottery. So just make sure that you participate if you're an employee in preparing the H1B application. Make sure that you choose the right SLC code, the right position, draft the right job description, and make sure that the employer support letter doesn't open up the degree requirements too broadly as to not make the position specialty occupation. But the good news is that this year, probably the H1B adjudication will be a lot easier than last year. That's what we hope. And with a lot of time given to the H1B filing, people are going to prepare a better petition to be submitted, and USCIS not being so overwhelmed will be quicker in their adjudication. So just to share one experience we've had, we filed an H1B transfer in March, and we thought it was going to take months, but then it got approved in 3 days. That is the fastest I've ever seen in the last 11 years since I've been an immigration lawyer. I initially thought it was a mistake that it can't be approved that quickly. But then we checked with USCIS, and lo and behold, they approved it in three days without premium processing. So that gives me hope that USCIS should be making it quicker for certain cases that don't really require a lot of adjudication. But one thing about that employer was that it's a public utility company, so probably USCIS thought there was no problem to that kind of an employer, so they approved the case rather quickly. So again, here I am, after a week or so in Arcadia, holed up in what could be described best as a motel. I've decided to take a few days off and come to the beach and open up my heart and my eyes so that I can do better work and relax. So I'm at the Ritz-Carlton in Laguna Niguel. So there's a beach down there. Later on, I hope to go down there and take a little walk. Because of the pandemic, the restaurants in the hotel are not open, but they will deliver any food to me anywhere I am on the property, so they said. But everything has to be paid. Obviously, it's not free, but I did get a nice upgrade for Ocean View because of my membership with Marriott. So, yay, go Marriott. So the beach looks pretty good. There's like a lot of people actually, a lot of surfers, in the middle of the ocean. I guess when you're out in the open, you don't really have to practice social distancing because there's so much distance between you and the other people. And the beach is not terribly long, like it kind of ends right there. And I heard that the local grocery stores are still open, so I probably will have to go for a grocery run so that I can, be quarantined in my room for the next 7 days that I expect to be here. But I have to say it's quite nice, and right now hotels are giving really good rates. So you should definitely check it out if you wanted to, head out and get some fresh air. But the beach looks really great. So yeah, back to H1B. So if you're H1B selected, you're the lucky ones. Great. Make sure you contact your lawyer and be able to participate in the preparation process. If you have any questions about job descriptions or how to write, an employer support letter, or just have us double check the LCAs or the forms, or just have any questions, make an appointment. I think that it would be helpful to listen to other lawyers' opinions as you're preparing your H1B petition. For those of you who have not been selected yet in the lottery, I think a lot of people ask me the same question: is the lottery still going on? Well, it is in a way. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's a lottery, but it's kind of a backup drawing from employers that drop out, or from petitions that are denied. I heard that USCIS will also open up slots for petitions that are going to be denied by USCIS, which I thought was surprising, because I thought they would only open up the quota for employers that drop out because they didn't file a petition. Just kind of a little bit on that. So this year the lottery is a little different. So you go through the lottery first. You pay the $10, you enter into the lottery, and then they tell you if you're selected, and then you submit the petition. So the good thing about that is, you don't need to rush to file a complete H1B petition, and you would still, be able to get, oh, hey Gelda, hi, I see your, oh, miss my face. I'm sorry, you can only see half of it, because, the other half, I'll occasionally turn my face so you can see my whole face. But anyway, well, thank you for all the love. We were talking about the lottery. So because of the way the lottery is set up this year, there were a lot of employers that filed the petitions, because employees would tend to get multiple employers that are not related, of course, to all file the petition. Someone's calling me. I'm not going to answer it right now. So a lot of employers filed a petition. Multiple petitions. So employees get multiple petitions filed for them this year. So there's like 270,000, lottery entries this year. So after that, as you can understand, some of the employers will decide to not file the petition, even though they're selected in the lottery, because the employees were selected in another petition, in another lottery entry. So a lot of employers will understandably drop out, and USCIS will then draw from the remaining, pools of the selected ones that are not yet, that are not yet selected in the lottery, to replace those petitioners that drop out and didn't file the petitions for their employer. So I think that's what the rolling lottery comes in. So if you're not selected right now, there's still a chance that you may be selected, before the end of the fiscal year, which is September 30th. How many days are in September? I don't remember. But there's still a chance to be selected by the end of September. So that's one thing to remember. If you didn't get selected in a lottery, there's still a chance. The lottery is still ongoing, according to USCIS. We don't know how they're going to do this, but I don't think they're going to draw in July. I think what they're going to do is, as employers drop out, then they will draw from the pool and replace the employers that drop out. So that's the first thing you need to know. And second thing you need to know is that even if you leave the United States after not being selected, let's say if your OPT status ends in May and you have to leave by July and you don't hear back, but let's say for whatever reason you get selected in August, you can still file a petition and come back to the United States on H1B. So it doesn't really matter where you are. I get this question a lot where people say, well, my status ends, in May. I can't really stay here to wait for a decision because my grace period is going to end in July. So I tell them, well, you have a couple options. You can either, wait for the decision here by changing your status to F1 and take on another program, maybe do a day one CPT so you can continue working, or you can wait in your home country if you can travel, or you could wait in your home country, and then once you're selected, then you can come back. But most people in this day and age would choose to extend their status or change to another status so that they can stay longer, because traveling has been quite dangerous. So a lot of people, they would file what's called a change of status application on form I-539 with USCIS to change from F1 to B1, B2 to buy them 6 more months. So that's another option. Or they would just simply transfer their CBIS account from one school to the next to continue to onto the next program and possibly do like day one CPT. So that's another option. And another popular option for people who didn't get selected in the H1B lottery would be like, getting get evaluations for O1 visa. O1 visa is a work visa for extraordinary ability people. I encourage everyone who didn't get selected in the H1 lottery to look into this option, because the O1 visa does not have a quota, so you can apply at any time. The benchmark is higher, but if you get evaluated properly, then you might find yourself qualified for this extra option. But I have to caution everyone that not a lot of people do qualify for this particular type of work visa. So O1, O like Oprah, so look into that. And if your employer is willing to develop a training program for you, you can also try like an H3 trainee visa, or there's H1B in lieu, B1 in lieu of H1B. So there's all these options that are available. So people just remind me that I'm like against the light. I'm doing this on purpose because I do want people to see the backdrop, so it's easier to see that, so they don't have to really see my face, because I've shown my face so many times. It's like, who wants to see my face anyway? So yeah. Well, I mean, that's why I wanted to. So anyway, so we're talking about the options for H1B if you're not selected in the lottery, the other options. So we talked about going back to school to day one CPT, F1. We talked about, what else we talked about? B1 in lieu of H1B, O1, yes, extraordinary ability work visa, and we talked about H3, which is a trainee visa that's available if the employer is willing to train. So those are all options that you can look into, and we don't have a lot of time to go over all the options, obviously, but if you're interested, you can always contact us, make an appointment, and I'll be more than happy to walk through any of these options with you. So Gilda asked, where am I? So I am in Laguna Niguel, and this is the Ritz-Carlton in Laguna Niguel. Ritz-Carlton is one of those really old hotels in the Marriott chain, I guess. So it's a little older, I guess, but it's nice. I mean, I have like a room that's overlooking the ocean, so I just thought I would do like a live session because I haven't done it in a long while, and I need to do that before my hair gets really long, because like we're not gonna be able to get haircuts for a while. So I got my hair cut before I came back, so I thought I would do a live session. So today I kind of want to focus on the options, if you didn't get selected in the H1B lottery, because that's kind of like the hottest question right now. Like, oh, the lottery results are out, I didn't get selected, so what do I do? What options do I have? So again, most popular option is day one CPT, which is transferring your F1 CBIS to another school that offers day one CPT, and then continue your work authorization through day one CPT. Now, a lot of people are going to ask me, is day one CPT safe? Because there are a lot of rumors. I wouldn't call them rumors. I mean, there's some validity to it. There are a lot of people talking about day one CPT not being a really safe option. So is day one CPT really safe? I mean, I would say yes. So the only time that day one CPT is not safe is when the school is shut down. And the school is shut down because, they don't offer classroom components. But if you go to classes, and even if it's just twice or three times per semester, flying to like somewhere in the Midwest, that should be fine to satisfy the schooling requirement. So day one CPT is safe if the school doesn't get shut down, and the school won't get shut down if they comply with the requirement of holding classroom components in addition to their online learning components. So make sure your school offers online setting, and most day one CPT schools are. And when you're done with day one CPT, when you apply for the next thing, let's say green card or H1B or O1, you might want to think about consular processing instead of a change of status application, because if you apply for a change of status application, then USCIS might hold the position that Day 1 CPT after OPT is not maintaining status for you, and since you're not maintaining status, you cannot apply for a change of status. So that's the only risk with Day 1 CPT, is that if you use Day 1 CPT for more than a year, for the same academic year, then you might not be able to change status more smoothly. But you can still choose consular processing. That's still an option out there. So, and if you apply for a change of status and get denied because of Day 1 CPT, the petition will automatically convert to consular processing. So, what have you got to lose to use Day 1 CPT at this time? Probably not that much. So I would say Day 1 CPT is a pretty safe option, at least for now. So that's the most popular option. Transfer school to Day 1 to the CBIS account to a Day 1 CPT school, and these schools are generally like in the Midwest. There's like one in San Jose that I just learned. So, but no one knows if any of the schools is any good, but they're all pretty good, I would imagine. But do look into their curriculum. But Day 1 CPT would be the most the quickest option, especially in a time of coronavirus, because when you transfer your CBIS, you don't need to leave the United States, and you don't even need to apply for a change of status. So it does make it a little bit safer to transition to that kind of status from within the United States. So Day 1 CPT is a popular option. Now the other option would be like O1, which is for extraordinary ability visa, and extraordinary ability work visa would be suitable for like artists or entrepreneurs or someone who's engaged in something that the work that they've done is like on the top of their line. So that's something to be mindful of. Like if you have a lot of accomplishments in your line of work, definitely reach out to one of the firms that does a lot of O1s, and I have quite a few referrals for you, and they usually make you do this really long intake worksheet to determine if you are eligible for O1, and they usually would evaluate it for free. So you've got nothing to lose. I mean, if you don't have the qualifications, you can still try. I mean, that's one option to look into. And then we talked about B1 in lieu of H1B. This is kind of a very special type of visa. It requires leaving the US, I imagine, because it's a B1 visa that's issued from outside the US, but it's bringing workers in sort of like as a substitute for H1B. This is a very seldom used category. So if your employer, has has like a branch outside the United States, even if they don't, that's an option to explore. But B1 in lieu of H1B is like a B1 visa status that only lasts about a year. So it's not a very long-term solution, but at least it gives you time to maybe enter into the lottery for next year. And then you can think about, H3, which is a trainee visa, if your employer designs a trainee program for you, and then you can transition to an H3 work visa, which is also temporary. And another popular option that people talk about is a J1, where you can be like an exchange scholar or an intern, but there's a lot of restrictions on J1s, and generally immigration lawyers don't deal with J1s because J1 visas are handled by organizations that does all the paperwork, link you up with employer. So if you're interested, you can look up Department of State J1 visa sponsors. That way you can contact them and see if you would qualify for a J1 visa. A J1 visa has a maximum of like 18 months. So yeah, so it's not a very long-term solution. Someone said nice Zoom visual background. This is not Zoom. This is actually I'm actually here. So you hear wait, you hear that? This is an actual glass, and that's an actual beach out there. So I'm actually here. So it's not a backdrop. So yeah, so those are the options. That's the question I get a lot these days. I get selected in the lottery, or I didn't get selected in the lottery, and what do I do? Or I get selected in the lottery, but my employer is not willing to file the petition anymore, and what do I do? So in that situation, I mean, you're gonna have to negotiate with your employer, because only an approved H1B petition can be transferred. So what you need to do is fight for that approval, so you can take it to another employer, when it's approved. Now, if the employer no longer wants to employ you, I mean, there must be a way you can talk to them and see if they would file the petition, get it approved, and even if you don't work for them, and even if you don't get it stamped, you can still transfer it. You'll be CAB exempt if that petition is approved. So you definitely want to fight for that chance and be able to, be CAB exempt for the next 6 years. So I guess that's all I have for now. Although I might have more. I just didn't really organize my notes. I just want to sit down and do the work and do a little live session before I head down to the beach and walk around. Maybe I'll share some videos of the beach later on. Yeah. So if you have any questions, feel free to send me a text message or send me a Facebook message. Follow me on Facebook. Tell your friends who have questions to follow me on Facebook and send me a message, and I'll be more than happy to help out with questions that they have. Later on, I will try to do a live session with my face, with the light on my face like this, so that you can see my face. But I imagine you want to see this more than my face, right? I mean, I'm sure everybody's been holed up in their house for a while, so hopefully this this live session is gonna offer some nice views for people who are at their home. All right, well, thank you for tuning in, and I will be doing more of this week, since I'm in a beautiful space and a lot of things to do here. Thank you. All right, well, Gilda, it's nice to hear from you too. Maybe next time I do a live session, you can ask a question, then I can answer the question, so we can have a back and forth. All right, well, thanks everyone.